Welcome to another episode of the For the Culture podcast, a soccer podcast for us, by us. We talk about the intersection of black culture and soccer. Got your boy here, Grego. Got your boy TK, Papa TK. Got the birthday boy, Mayor Kane. What's good with you, fam? Another year wiser. Got the haircut on Smash.
Yeah, and I'm glowing a little bit, I see, you know. I'll take it.
And we got a long-time part of the culture, Marc Nicholls from Late Night Fan TV. What's good with you, bro?
I'm alright. I feel a little better if Chelsea did the business they were supposed to, but, you know, it is what it
y'all
is.
Y'all did enough business over the weekend. Like, ain't nobody worried about y'all, man. Not a damn thing, man. But, yeah, Rashad, another birthday, man. Like, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling optimistic. And, hey, what can I say? I'm feeling good.
You know, we've been avoiding talking about this for the past few weeks. And, of course, as we recorded today, the inevitable finally happened. Liverpool got their trophy. They have won the league. But first, let's talk about Real Madrid. Yes, real champions winning leagues. Number 34. Yo, I have this dream of mine, and especially once we get into it with the home team, I really wish that I would just come to Atlanta, like on life. Like the fact that you've won 3 straight Champions Leagues, and now you've shown you can win without Ronaldo. You've won La Liga. I'm like, yo, I just need for Zidane to come here. And why? Because I didn't think I would ever get to this point, but I think I'm off the board train. Like, for real. Like, sure. Man, it's been a long 2 weeks, you know, watching the home team basically stink that bitch up.
Woo! Yeah.
And I just want to get y'all thoughts on like what exactly went wrong? What did anything go right? Because I actually do feel like there is actually one thing that went right, but aside from that, everything went wrong.
Yeah.
But of course we lost each game 1-0 to New York. Cincinnati. What the? We lost to Cincinnati, bro. And then, of course, to our dear Nagby's new home, Columbus, yesterday on Tuesday. What are your thoughts? Like, what's the postmortem on this?
Birthday boy, you up first?
I'll take it, man. It's quite disappointing, to say the least. I thought a few weeks ago, you know, when we made our initial projections going into the tournament, none of us had them getting to the final or actually winning the final. Mm-hmm. I said very slim margin, but I also added along that continuity of the team. Mm-hmm. This team looks completely different now, even from the last time we played Cincinnati during the regular season. And we picked up a win, and just this season in general. We don't have Martinez, and there's lots of other players that return from injury, that are, you know, had different issues as far as visas and things like that. So they're now in the squad, and the squad has not had time to pretty much gel. And I'm not sure what Deborah is thinking as far as tactical. So I think it's a hot mess because we don't have it looks like we don't have a plan in play going forward. So it's like we're just trying to do a lot of experimenting.
And that's the weird thing because, of course, thanks to our dear leader here in Georgia, Governor Kemp, we were able to start training a lot sooner than a lot of teams were. Like, we had about a good extra month over most teams, and to look the way we did, yeah, that was a hot shit a mess.
Right. And you made a great point with that. You made a great point. You were definitely early.
Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of the struggles, I think it starts with two players in particular, Joseph and Nagby, right? Mm-hmm. And, like, quite frankly, at their positions, they're two of the best in the league. I mean, Joseph is the best striker in the league, I think. And then Nagby, I think, arguably best midfielder, but definitely top 5. And, you know, I just feel like, but the thing is, we still have talent, you know? We still have, as I said in my fan cam, like, two of the biggest signings in MLS history. And so, you know, like, those guys are underperforming, and then other players are underperforming as well. I mean, like, I didn't think Hyman was all that good. He's on a TAM salary, right? Man like Escobar, who we know can be pretty good, did not look it at all in this tournament. And it's just, it's definitely a team thing. I think my thing is, like, my question at this point is, what actually are De Boer's ideas? Because even if you go back to his most successful period, right, I think it came after the players kind of had a mini revolt and were like, this isn't how we're used to playing. So De Boer was like, okay, let's go back to what y'all did a little bit last year. Let's play players where they're comfortable. And he had that nice stretch in August, I would say, is probably the best. But after that, it's been inconsistent. You know, going back to the way we ended the season, and then, of course, you know, okay, like, you lose Joseph, and they managed to win the first couple games. Well, no, really, just the one game. Because, yeah, they lost during the national match. But, yeah, I mean, like, it just, they've had so much time to, I guess, plan for this, and the squad got healthy. Like, we were actually having a bit of an injury crisis when the season stopped. So I was like, okay, well, the squad's going to be healthy now. This is the best team we can put on. This is the best team on paper that we can possibly have, and it's still pretty good. But they just completely toothless.
TK.
Yeah, man, it was pretty bad. I can honestly say, like Marc just mentioned, we saw signs of this last year. And even when De Boer first started to implement his plans within the team, it was shaky at best. And I just don't think that, I think the worst part of this for me is that De Boer is not a manager who is able to manage his squad point blank. I don't think he can get these set of players onto his style of tactics. And I think this is we're reaping the benefits of that, so to speak.
I mean, it's you know, we've talked about it in past episodes. We lost Gressel, we lost Nagby, we lost Tito, we lost Parkhurst, and a bunch of other important players like Pogba and Merrim and guys like that. And all things considered, especially in a cap-regulated league like MLS, if you're going to drop those guys, it's going to be hard to get the same quality for the same number. You know what I mean? And who we got in place of those guys, I mean, they look like ass, like straight up ass. And I think what frustrated me more, especially during the game against Columbus, was just the lack of hustle. It was just like, y'all just walking. It's like, I don't know if it's just a case of where, you know, you're just over it. You're like, I'm tired of Florida. I'm tired of this hotel food. Like, I'm tired of the bubble. I want to go see my wife and get some ass. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I just know, you know, there's the only silver lining to this is that we're getting out of Florida. And I'll add a second one. Since we already have points from the first couple games of the season, we're not in a hole like Miami where you have no points at all. Like, we're still mid-table, all things considered, but at the same time, like, there's no momentum going into whatever the rest of the season looks like. And I'm hoping that this time away from Orlando and whatever time that that the team gets back, when they get back here to Atlanta, they're like, we need to figure shit out, because I know a couple things. Adam John A. Joseph, Emerson Hyman's not Nagby. Like, you have to figure out what's going to work with what you have now. Because if you're trying to work things the way they were last year, you're probably not going to get it. You have to figure out some type of way to make what you have now work. But
what are our positives? If like we got to find some positives, you know.
Bello was healthy and actually showed signs of life. Like that's jumped out to me right away. Like, he was probably like the best player that we had back in against New York, and of course he sat out the Cincinnati game and he played against Columbus, and he wasn't quite as good against Columbus, but there at least were some signs of life. I think Barco's trying. I think for both Barco and for Pitti, without Joseph kind of like how can I put it? Joseph is the guy who stirred. He's the one that brings it all together. Yeah. He's the guy that stirs the drink. And if you don't have that part, what Barco and what Pitti does really is like, it's like a headless monster. And right now, and like, don't get me started on a 3-4-3. If I see that shit when we get back, I swear to you, it will not be pretty. Because any idea that you had with 3-4-3, which I actually did say was better suited going into the season, but without Joseph, it's like, yeah, you have no finisher. So you kind of got to go back to what you have to go back to a safer option. And right now, the 3-4-3 ain't that safe option, but I'll let y'all have at it.
What's the positive, Marc? Marc, what you got on your positive? Marc, you with me? Man, well, I'll go ahead with my own shit. I think Guzan was a positive. He seemed to actually.
I think I thought. Yeah.
Go for it, man.
I thought of the new players, I thought Lennon was probably the best. Like, I thought he was decent in the tournament, and I thought his service was okay. If we had somebody in the box, I mean, it seems like a lot of times it was only like one person in the box, or sometimes no people in the box. So, aside from that, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to think of. It's tough to think of positives. Yeah, it's difficult, honestly, because like the thing is, like, for me, I wasn't necessarily concerned about results. Like, I think there's a lot of issues I've had with this tournament, and I'm glad that cases haven't spread. I'm glad that the bubble's working. I still have
the bubbles actually work pretty well.
Yeah,
it's worked pretty well.
That's a positive.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. The bubble's worked.
Can we stay? Can we stay in the bubble at least? I don't know. Like, how does this even work when teams get eliminated? Do you have to stay there, or do they go home?
Is there a 14-day quarantine?
Right.
Dallas had to stay.
Did they?
Yeah, they couldn't go right away. I thought they had to stay for like a week.
Interesting.
But
I know they'd have to quarantine when they get home. That would make sense.
Yeah, probably. Well, it's Texas, so they might just be free for all down there. But
do what you want. Do what you want.
No, where doesn't matter.
Now.
This isn't a positive, but I'm gonna touch on something you said, Grego, about the play being slow. Urgency is one way to look at it, but I think also like that's a sign of players not being comfortable, right? And players thinking instead of doing and instinctively playing. Like, that's the thing that I think bothers me, especially in the tournament. We didn't see LA United play. Like, they would possess the ball, they'd pass it around, the center backs, the wing back, the forward would come wide maybe, like, but there was no real, like, dangerous.
There was no real motion. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, that's something Tata used to talk about, too, like having urgency or having intensity,
There it is.
And we don't have that. We didn't have that, and I don't think we really have that under De Boer. And I do wonder how the players who are currently there are feeling. Like, I wonder how Remedi feels. Like, Remedi was actually pretty important to us winning MLS Cup, and like he's struggling to get game time. How does that even make sense? You know,
especially given this
in this setup,
awful 4-3-3. I'm like 3-4-3. Like you need 2 center mids. So I'm like, how are you still not playing? And like you're still sharing time with Larry and Hyman and
that pine
and Mo.
Yeah, yo. Mo got to go.
He was preferred to.
Mo got to go.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think that's whack.
Like, I like Mo, but I really don't see what DeBoer sees. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what? Last year, like he really didn't play a lot. Like he got in some action, but it wasn't like he was relied upon to be a starter. And I think for good reason. And I think we're seeing that reason now because it's not like he necessarily got better. It's just that the guys that were ahead of him last year aren't there anymore, and you have opportunity. And yeah,
with him last year, I saw hustle.
He had that, but you need more than hustle. Like you actually need. I think, especially for a team with this much talent, you actually have to have actual talent behind you.
Oh yeah,
and skills to start. Like it's. I know we talk about a lot the lack of competition. I think there's actually is competition for spots with this team. If you ain't bringing it, you shouldn't be starting it. And I'm like, this guy shouldn't be starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what he saw in training that week, but he definitely didn't bring it to the field or for any of those games.
Yeah.
But what you got, birthday boy?
I was actually going to pick out what TK said about. I don't think he finished what he was going to say about. Guzan.
There's internet connection, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so Brad, that's a positive. Brad being Brad, he came out and spoke some truth, man. The team's nowhere where they need to be, and this is not proper soccer. So he said some truth, and hopefully, the team heard what he said and takes heed to those words and really. Internalizes them and we can move forward and do better, basically. But I did appreciate that truth serum that he put out there because we've been looking like sugar honey, extra sweet iced tea. You know what I mean?
extra sugar in that bitch. But what you got, TK? What were we going to say?
Well, no, I'll move on. Gallagher was a bright point. For me, I feel he got subbed on and showed a little bit. But I think what we're lacking still is the chemistry, and I feel like people are trying, but the team is just lacking that overall chemistry, and a lot of those things attribute to some of the things you guys already mentioned. I know Grego before, just in regards to the amount of time that they've had to go ahead and kind of be prepared for this tournament. And I was just,
I mean, like that in itself just makes entirely no sense because, like I said, we had literally an extra month for some teams. Like some teams, they weren't able to start training until maybe a week or two before the tournament even started. So I'm like, this to come out and look that inept and not, and you've already knew that hey, you had no Joseph, so you had to adjust around that and to. And I think the thing that needs to be said is that these weren't blowouts. Like we saw teams that got laid 6 against them. That LAFC Galaxy game was fucking insane.
Yeah.
We saw teams that gave up 4. Like it wasn't like they weren't winnable games. It's just that we really just gave nothing that really resembled a coherent attack at all. And I think that, wherever we go after this, that has to be addressed soon because I wanted to give the board the leeway of the fact that there's no just this year, so you have to adjust. But you can't look that bad and expect to keep your job. It's just not going to happen. But
I think also
I will say before,
go ahead.
I was going to say before, I was going to point out, to your point, about there being no urgency and us trying to end the games being close. We lost every match 1-0.
Right.
We didn't score anything, and the only threat that I could remember us having, the first game against the Red Bulls, PT tried to pretty much put the game on his back in the last 20 minutes, and tried to shoot the lights out at every opportunity that he could. We just couldn't quite get it in the net. And then the match against Cincinnati, that penalty that got called back because we were offside by a hair. Other than that, the attack is very, very meager and weak. So yeah, we definitely need to figure that out, because we didn't really have too many other chances, but we were in every match. We just could have put one past the net. So
yeah, man, there's a lot that we could really go into that, but I did want to make note of announcement that came up earlier today. Up the road, up 85, up in Charlotte, our new neighbors to the north, Charlotte FC, and they unveiled their official name, their logo, their colors and whatnot. Of course, I think everyone that's been following them kind of expected the colors, similar to what the Carolina Panthers have, because they're playing in the same stadium, they're owned by the same guy. All that synergy and all that good stuff. But I got to tell you, the logo's trash. The logos. First of all, can we design a logo for MLS for some of these teams? Because I'm like, we keep copying the same shit over and over and over and over. Because we put it out on our socials that theirs kind of looks like ours. Then we move back even further. Ours looks like New York City FC's. And, of course, theirs looks like Manchester City. I'm like, we keep using the same template over and over and over. And, can we just get some diversity, please? But what are you guys' thoughts on the logos? Of course, I've talked about the crown itself looks like a sexual act. And I'm not. We're going to keep this somewhat PG-13. But I'm going to just tell you guys, observe the negative space. Observe the negative space. What y'all got?
It's hard to unsee.
You can't.
It really is.
What do you guys think?
I don't like the name.
Yeah, it just feels a little uninspired. They could have did worse, but they could have did better for sure as well. So it's half and half. Because
let's see some of these names that they could have gone with. They could have went with All Carolina FC, Charlotte Crown FC, Charlotte Town FC. They should, for those who haven't been down here in the Southeast, Charlotte is obviously North Carolina. It's right by the South Carolina border. Of course, for a lot of people, the alternative to FC is SC, South Carolina SC Soccer Club. Obviously, they're going to market to the South Carolina side of the border as well. So I'm like, yeah, that would have been a perfect opportunity to say, hey, let's just use the double wordplay and say, hey, let's use SC. But I'm just thinking out loud. But I guess that's too much for people to do. But yeah,
do people do that? There's a rumor going around on Twitter that the same guy who designed theirs designed ours.
Yo, who's that guy up in Bring It On? It is you guys just copy the same square figures. They prepare for total domination. That's basically what's happening here. You keep copying it. You use the same template, wait about 2 or 3 years, reuse it, do it all over again, put new colors. I'm like, ta freaking da.
It's so funny too, because this announcement came after yesterday. LA's new NWSL team was announced, and they're called Angel City, and the names in NWSL are so much cooler.
That's dope. That name is dope.
Yep, it is.
Even USL,
Charlotte
Independence.
of course, you got to wonder what's going to happen with them with MLS coming. I hope they keep it. I hope they keep that team, even though their owners got some funky views. But if nothing else, you still need to have independent teams. You still need to have multiple teams in big markets. So hopefully they figure things out and they're able to find their niche within the Charlotte area. But you mentioned NWSL, Marc. And I know they're about to wrap up this weekend. Of course, the semifinals actually are taking place right now. I know earlier today they had Houston versus Portland, and Houston pulled it out 1-0. And tonight they got Sky Blue versus Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like the quarterfinals. Like they all went to PKs. I was like, yo, like that's just like mad stressful. Like the fact that all of them went to PKs. I think all but one. I think, but
yeah.
But buckets over here.
I was actually
like the old rules, right?
I have some special intel from Utah that I was talking to a certain player that's actually in the tournament, and it was during the Sky Blue game. Of course, they won on PKs, and it's funny because she was telling me that she was supposed to be next for Sky Blue had the shootout kept going, and she was like, yeah. She's so glad that she had to go up there. But it's been cool to see. Shout out to Jake for the login because I needed that shit. But I'm looking forward to seeing like how this turns out. So we got Houston in the final, and who y'all think pulls out tonight?
Maybe something like that. Shot-town.
Shot-town.
Yeah, I think Chicago.
Yeah, that sounds like a safe bet. Yeah, there's been a lot of upsets in this tournament. So
I'll tell you what's upset in Chicago.
What? Oh, your boy. We're gonna get on that. We're gonna get it in 2 up, 2 down. Trust and believe on that. But
you don't want to drag him or not.
we're gonna take a quick break, pay a quick bill. We're gonna get over to Europe. We're gonna talk about Liverpool winning the championship. You never know. But we'll be right back. And we are back. Now, Liverpool. I can't believe they did it. But first,
freaking dog that.
But of course, you see the top half of this podcast is United. Down below is Chelsea, and we gotta give it to you. Y'all beat us on Sunday, FA Cup semifinals. I mean, it took y'all long enough to beat us this year because took y'all a while, but we'll give it to you. We'll give you a little win and everything. But of course, y'all need to let Pulisic keep playing. Like, I don't know what happened as far as why he came off the bench today against Liverpool, but all I know is he get Joe Gomez that work. That absolutely.
Do you have a theory, Marc, on this?
Why? So going back to Sunday, I feel like Frank kind of pulled out his inner Mourinho, so to speak. He came out the 3-4-3. They were. I think we were set up to cover weaknesses and not make mistakes, and I think that was smart against Man United, who they've been good recently, but I think over the course of the season been a little inconsistent, right? And so like that attack, that front four had been fire, and Man United did not play the best team, so that's like a big part of it as well. But so like coming into today, I think it was kind of like it was the same lineup as Sunday. Sunday. So I think that was the idea. It's just like kind of
ride with it.
Yeah,
minus
exactly.
The worst keeper in the league. Yo, I didn't realize how things had gotten bad with Kepa. That dude.
How bad his form has dropped.
That dude got to go. Like between maybe it's a Spanish thing because of course we were saying the same thing about De Gea after Sunday. I was like, because he basically he beat us more than y'all beat us. Like I was like, this dude got to go.
That's kind of the feeling, man. Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here? I know I sent you guys earlier the clip, but Marc, you may have seen it secondhand or something like that. basically the entire bench is yelling at Kepa to come off the damn off his yard line. He won't even come 1 yard off his goal line. It's ridiculous to block that shot that Van Dijk rocketed over the net, luckily. But that would have been the end of the game if the momentum was already swinging in Liverpool's favor. So it's just one of those things, man. If you're going to be the biggest transfer fee for a goalkeeper, you got to be able to come off the line, man. You got to command the box. I mean, there's nothing that we're getting from Kepa right now that I see. That's I wish he'd bust out his dick like he did when he refused to sub off. I'm sorry.
Take some of that confidence,
big man.
That seems like so long ago now.
Right.
Yeah, when he had some mojo.
Yeah.
But it's wild because I mean to jump in, but I need to say something about Arsenal real quick because last week they were king shit. They beat Liverpool. They beat Man City in the other semifinal. We're thinking hey, we this shit with Arteta might be working after all. And then they shit the bed against Aston Villa, and in just the most Arsenal way possible. I'm you just never know which Arsenal you're gonna get, Jedi.
I think with Arsenal, the way I see it is this: I do think Arteta has shown that he has good ideas, and understands generally how to set up his team and so on. I think he's working with what he's got, and I think a lot of times teams who clearly need new players, right, but clearly lacking in quality, have trouble breaking down those smaller teams. Villa are fighting for their life. You know what I'm saying? I know it's Villa and they're in a relegation position, but they're gonna come out differently, with everything on the line for them. So I guess it's a little surprising, but it's not the same as versus Man City when Arsenal have 30% possession. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different game, I think.
Absolutely. Rashad?
I was just going to say, what was playing in my mind is just that match. All I could think about is not Arsenal, but Arsenal. Just running joke. I didn't expect to see that coming. Actually, just their recent form, I just didn't expect to see them wet the bed against Aston.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. Of course, last weekend they played against Spurs in the North London Derby. Spurs beat them there. Like I said, it's the last 10 days have been the most Arsenal shit ever. You lose against Spurs, then you turn right around, beat Liverpool, then you go even further, you beat Man City, and then we're going to lose to a team that's fighting relegation. Like I said, with a real Arsenal, please stand up. Let us know who you are, and which one should we expect going into next year? Because of course, this weekend is the final weekend of the EPL season, and actually, we're looking at some interesting battles. Of course, our guys got Leicester. We're fighting for third place. We're gonna keep third place, and
you hope.
Yeah, well, you should be in third place. What happened?
There's 9 permutations.
You know what? Someone showed me the table back before the shutdown. At some point before shutdown, Leicester was 14 points up on us. So people keep joking about us still being in 5th place. I'm no, we keep winning, Leicester keeps losing, and then thanks to Liverpool, Chelsea got to fight for it too. So we'll see how Sunday goes, and I guess y'all just have to enjoy 4th place. Your jersey won't match your place, so good luck on that.
Thank you, guys.
But yeah, man. There was one other thing I wanted to get into tonight. I don't know. You want to save it for 2 Up, 2 Down, Rashad? Because since you're the Atlanta boy up in here, I want to make sure that you give a good shout out to two Atlanta icons that we lost over the weekend, John Lewis and CT Vivian. Like, give us your thoughts on that.
So, recently we lost two giants, John Lewis and the Reverend CT Vivian, both very iconic in the Black community and in the civil rights community and within the Atlanta community. Giving their lives to service, to the betterment of people in general, not just Black people and Black culture, but just everyone. Because our triumphs and our life, and what we endure on a daily basis, is a reflection on society. So if we're taken care of, then society looks promising, and that's what they fought for every day. And it's men like that have us in a position where we wouldn't be the city that we are. And we wouldn't be fighting for what we're fighting for without those men. So they put their life on the line for us, and we appreciate all of their works and the things that they've done for our community and for the city. And it's tough that we lost both of them back to back. John Lewis last Friday and Reverend Vivian on Saturday. But these are two civil rights icons that will be forever missed, truly missed. And the last few days, just reflecting on, how they've touched so many people, just listening to people that I know, their stories, and even my story, just with meeting them, and just, they've touched so many people, man. It's going to be a tough transition without them. So, may their legacies live on. And I know their work is going to live on, because we're not going to let it die. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
what you got, TK?
No, man, I just want to just re-echo those thoughts that the mayor just gave out. I probably couldn't have said it any better, honestly.
Indeed. Of course, a bit of housekeeping. Name sets are going out. We've had a bit of a backlog getting them shipped out. I just got to the post office too late and had to go back on a different day. But people should already be receiving name sets. More will be sent out by Friday. So by the time you guys listen to this, they should already be on the way out to you guys, and you'll probably get them like either this weekend or the first part of next week. Of course, go to ftcutd.myshopify.com. Like I said, we're still doing the Black Lives Matter name sets, so make sure that you get that, put them on your jerseys, share it. Once you get impressed, share those pictures with us, because we want to be able to shout you guys out on the nets and the social media and everything. But so like, quick question before we go to 2 Up 2 Down. So like, of course, you guys have listened to us, of course, keep going throughout the shutdown. What have you guys been doing how have you guys with Fan TV, have y'all been keeping up with the content during the pandemic times?
Yeah, so we never stopped recording. We still put out episodes every week. In terms of how we record, it's just like this. I haven't seen AJ in person or in months, or Tanner for that matter. And yeah, I mean, like, just been obviously, like, especially early in the shutdown, like March, April, when nothing was going on. All you got to talk about is what might happen in COVID. Because it's you can't not talk about it, right? So, but I mean, like, at that time, kind of, I guess, in a way, it did kind of fly by, because, yeah, it seems like it's just been nonstop soccer for the last couple months now, or a month even. I don't even know.
Yeah, like it's kind of like hit me, like all of a sudden, like La Liga's done, La Liga's done, EPL's about to be done, Bundesliga at the end of the weeks ago. Like, it's like, oh shit, like we're actually like flew by pretty quickly. Of course, we still got Champions League to finish up next month, and
Europa.
Yeah, in Europa, and
FA Cup.
Whatever, man. but yeah, and it's flown by. Of course, we still got a couple more weeks of MLS tournament. NWSL wraps up this weekend, so
let's do a hot pick real quick. Atlanta's out, so the home team is out as far as we're concerned here. Let's hear your pick, Marc.
I'm gonna go with an X. Darlington Nagby's new team, like they look really good, and I think they would have been like a top 3 team in the East had there been like a real season. So that's probably my pick. That's probably who I'm gonna root for, honestly, because I do like watching them play.
Who you got, Rashad?
I second that. I take Columbus Crew. I like to see them pretty much advance all the way. That's what I'm doing.
Gregor?
I'm gonna be different. As long as they realize there are more teams than LA Galaxy, I like LAFC, because the fact that you have your MVP didn't come to the tournament, and you're still scoring with ease. Like, that's a dangerous team.
What's that like?
I forgot. It's been at least 2 years.
Yeah, and I like them. I like Philly as well. But yeah, I think that as long as they keep their focus this time, and not blow it too soon, like they did during the playoffs last year, I like LFC.
So my pick is Toronto.
Ooh.
Going with the Ayo, right?
Ayo,
man, kid's on starting to get on fire. So we'll see how he fares in his next match. But I think they have a good chance to go pretty deep in the tournament and potentially win it, especially from their side. And Columbus has got, like, when we were originally thinking that we could go a little bit further, I was saying all roads are through Columbus. So I think Columbus has got a good route. So we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah, absolutely. But
who'd you rather see against Toronto, TK, real quick in the next round, Montreal?
I want to see Montreal go as far as possible because I want success for one of the only black managers in MLS. So just on that fact alone, honestly.
This is like the winner of that match goes to Toronto, plays Toronto.
Yeah. So may the best team win.
This is like the most we've seen Montreal on US TV like ever. I just put that out there. But it looked good. It did look good, and of course, Henry. It looks like what he's doing is working, and also a quick note on that end as well. Jap Stam, Cincinnati, got them looking good as well. Because they've been
Cincinnati they look, honestly, after watching this game, as we are actually running this pod, they just finished up, man. They look polished, It looked
a little touch and go during that first match, but they've definitely cleaned things up since. And, just like it looks like whatever they got wrong in that first game, they definitely fixed, afterwards. And that goes to good coaching, and, you have to be able to receive that instruction as well. So
I wonder what's in their FTC Cup.
I see what you did there. Aha! But let's wrap this thing up. Let's get up to now. What you got, TK?
My down is going to be the Senate, man. Pass the Heroes Act now, immediately. Do that shit, man. It's been at least 2 weeks since they've just been kind of sitting on their hands. We got social unrest happening, people getting kidnapped up in Pacific Northwest, all sorts of fuck shit happening. So we just went explicit. Love it. But it's unfortunate. So I want to see. There's a lot of people out here hurting that are now infected with COVID. That, can't go to work, and it's nothing they could have done more to prevent that from happening. So there's a lot of families hurting across the country. So pass the damn Heroes Act. I implore you to reach out to your representative and let them know how you feel. My up will be. My baby's a month old today.
L-E.
And you're still alive.
Still alive. But the things are getting more projectile. I didn't think that was going to work that way. I know I had voiced some grievances about this previously.
Oh God!
We're
gonna hold off on that whole kid thing.
Yeah, this is a process. No, it's. I also implore you to dive straight into parenthood. This shit is a wonderful reward. So that's all I got. Pass it on.
What you got, Marky Mark?
Vicariously through you, like.
So, for my down, it's got to be COVID, man. And all these other countries, they handle things the right way. They're starting to reopen a little bit, starting to get back to normal, and we're just like back to square one, pretty much. Our governors out here acting crazy. Like, I just want people to take this seriously. I want everybody, individuals, to take responsibility. Do the social distancing, stay home as much as possible, wear your mask, like all the stuff we see about people protesting mask mandates. I mean, like, that's, that doesn't even make sense to me. So that's my down. My up is probably Sunday, honestly, because, EPL wraps up, and this is one of the most exciting final weekends we've had in a while. Like, we still don't know who's really getting relegated. We really don't know who's going to be top four. Like, a lot of games are going to matter on Sunday. And then you got the NWSL final, which is going to be on Big CBS. And their first game was on Big CBS, and it was the biggest game of the weekend. And so, my whole thing is like, just if women's sports got the benefit of the doubt and a fraction of the support that men's sports got, it would thrive. And so, like, I'm looking forward to seeing that game, see what numbers comes out of that game. I'm just looking forward to soccer on Sunday.
Well said.
What you got, birthday boy?
All right, I'll let my previous words do the speaking for my not so good down. It's a down, but with John Lewis and C2 Vivian, so I'll let that speak. On the upside, your boy has crossed took a trip around the world again. So, like you just said, it was my birthday, and my Red Devils are third, baby. Yeah, so life is good right now. They didn't see us coming. You know what I'm saying, Grego? They didn't see us coming, but
that's what I'm saying.
What are you talking about, dude? You guys had a run.
You see where we are. We're literally sitting on top of who's in fourth on the table. So, right below me, right below us.
So I want you to know when the tiles get reorganized on the video.
Hey, hit my line. Hit my line. Hey, if the table shifts, hey, you can call my line. You can talk as much shit as you want to. All right, I give you that permission.
That's hilarious. My downs. Oh, I'm not going to say it's a down, but it's actually a welcome back. Leeds United, first time since 2004, they're promoted back to the Premier League. Of course, for those of you who are fairly new to the game, Leeds United used to be a giant in English soccer, and it ran into some money issues back in the early 2000s. Ended up getting relegated, ended up going into administration, and basically been, trying to figure out the ways in the lower divisions. And they won the second division in England, the championship, this season, so they get automatically promoted to the EPL. Welcome back. We're ready to beat y'all ass. It's been a while, so definitely looking forward to that. I know United and Leeds, that used to be big time. So,
we ready for them too. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
that's who this final was for the FA Cup in 1970. So I think it's going to be pretty righteous that this is our 50th anniversary and we're in back-to-back FA Cup finals.
It would take Liverpool winning the championship for Leeds to finally come back. This is what 2020 has done to all of it.
There
you go.
But hey, they have made for some epic celebrations.
We'll see.
Leeds and Liverpool,
but yeah, of course we another up. Honestly, I'm glad they finally did the right thing here. MLS has announced that Charlotte, Sacramento, St. Louis, they're pushing their start dates back a year. So Charlotte, instead of starting next year, will start 2022. and Sacramento and St. Louis will start in 2023. All things considered, I think this is the best move for everyone because of how crazy COVID has become. The last thing that you want to have happen is those expansion teams can't get off on the right foot and start playing in front of fans and everything. Of course, you still have Austin that's going to be starting next year, and they've had enough of a head start to where they feel comfortable going ahead and starting next year. But I definitely think that pushing everyone else back a year, give them enough time to get all their ducks in a row, and and also reach out to their communities, make sure the ticket sales are strong. I think that in the end, it'll work out for everybody. So that's actually a decent positive for MLS. I still got more ups. I don't know what to do here.
I missed the up myself.
Yeah, man, break them off.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, one of the other up I wanted to say is shout out to Major League Soccer, NBA, Major League Baseball is coming back. We're slowly starting to get back to some sort of normal, but bubbles are working. The bubbles are working. The strategy can be pushed in ahead of time, but you don't really hear any too many positive results. The NBA tested over 300 players, and there were 0 positive results recently. So they've gotten underway, getting their season started. Baseball starts tomorrow. The tournament, MLS is back. It's been going. So you haven't really had too many positive results. So the systems are put in place. The bubbles are working. So good job.
NFL, take notice, because otherwise this shit ain't going to work. But yeah, there was one other thing. Of course, we talked about last week with the Washington Football Club changing their name. Up in Canada, the Edmonton football team has also chose to drop their name, the Eskimos. They actually just go straight as the Edmonton Football Club while they figure out their rebrand. I figured at some point, while we're all on this equality and Black Lives Matter tip, that hopefully other ethnicities can get some of their issues addressed as well. And it may not seem like it's a big thing, but at the same time, it all matters. So definitely glad to see those two issues get addressed and everything. But and last but not least, Mayor Keisha versus Governor Kemp. I just need them to fight. I just need them to fight at this point.
Like Tekken or Street Fighter? What would be your preferred?
At this point, I need a Street Fighter fight, and then I need for them to
Marvel Capcom.
And then in 2 years, I need for them to go fight for the governor's house. I mean, if we can get Kemp out sooner, that'd be great. But at the very least, I'm gonna need to see that in 2 years. But Governor Kemp, Mayor Keisha for mandating masks here in Atlanta, which makes no sense because he's out here wearing a mask. I'm like,
whoopsie.
Did he sue the mayor of Decatur?
No.
Interesting. There's a couple other cities where they have mask mandates. Mm-hmm. Savannah.
Yeah. But
say what the common denominator is.
TK?
Tell him. Tell him.
Papa TK.
All I know is I got 50 on Keisha. So.
Okay.
One positive I want to throw in real quick too. I do appreciate the tribute from the home team for John Lewis. I thought it was appropriate. And so since the movement started, I have been looking to Atlanta to see what they've been doing. I think they've been okay, but I thought the tribute to John Lewis was like I said, it was appropriate. I appreciated it.
Yeah, actually, I got one as well. Throw lesson. Not a sport everyone's into, but F1. Lewis Hamilton, the only black man in the sport, is bringing light to a lot of the diversity issues and not blatant, but systematic, as people say, racism that is just ingrained into most places all over the world. And it's just nice to see a light on that for those who are kind of into the racing world, to see
You gave
speaking
Mario
up about
Andretti that smoke.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that I guess we'll make it a down because he had to get into it with Mario Andretti, and that was like on everyone's ticker on the news feeds, ESPN. Mm-hmm. But even before that, man, it's kind of been like a farce with F1. If you watch it, they rush the Black Lives Matter. Like everyone kneels before the race, and then they do like the national anthem of the country that they're in. But it's really rushed. It looks horrible, like just on camera.
You just do another.
It really.
Did you touch
like
the ground?
Care.
Okay, we good.
Well, even when they first announced it, it's "We Race for All," and then they used the moniker of the LGBTQ rainbow as the label, and I'm like, this is not the same thing. So for me, F1 is really getting it horribly wrong. I've only ever seen one black guy on F1, and that was as a mechanic, but I can get into that a whole nother day. My other side of the up is that Lewis Hamilton is back in the leadership for the championship. So, I'm just eager to see him, achieve this next championship. To have the record, over, Michael Schumacher. And that's it.
Cool.
Black
cool.
excellence,
Always. Sorry we're out of time to talk about Liverpool winning the championship. Maybe we'll do it next week, but that's all we got for
Will it
this
be relevant
show.
then?
By the end of the season, we'll be over. We won't have to talk about it. So, I'll tell you. But yes, where can they find Atlanta United Fan TV? Mean Marc.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, ATLUTD Fan TV. Yep, and of course YouTube.
Yes, indeed. And of course, as always, you can catch us at FTC
UCD.
That actually sounded pretty good. I like that one. But yes, make sure you catch us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, still TikTok, kind of.
No, we need to get off TikTok, man. Spyware.
The YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe, hit the likes. We're trying to get our YouTube game up, like our guys at United Fan TV. Thanks, Marc, for coming on the show. Next week, we'll talk about final NWSL. We'll talk about more of the MLS tournament. We'll actually even go into some basketball, because, of course, NBA, WNBA about to start back up. But, yeah, catch y'all soon. In the meantime, for TK, for Mayor, for Marc, for Coach Grego, Coach is real, Coach everywhere. We will see y'all soon.